Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about this because a lot of people don't know this. So in New Hampshire, we're blessed. We have a turnpike system, right? Not every state has a turnpike. We have a turnpike system that's part of the DOT family, but it's an enterprise fund, okay? And all the dollars that go in the turnpike have to stay on the turnpike. So we have 10 tolling facilities in New Hampshire. We take in $117 million worth of tolls, but that toll money has to stay in the turnpike, okay? If we have an operational deficit in the New Hampshire Highway Fund part of DOT, which is gas tax and registration fees, and if we have an operational deficit, which we do, it's about $35 million a year because our funding source has not changed since 1991. You can imagine trying to run an organization as massive as the size of New Hampshire DOT and doing what we do with the same funding source as 1991. Imagine running your business with the same amount of revenue, or now less because we have more fuel-efficient cars that are purchasing less gas since 1991. Okay? I worked in manufacturing, right, global manufacturing, extremely challenging, probably one of the most challenging jobs in terms of what you can do. Coming to New Hampshire state government, running a large organization where you're absolutely strained for cash, and you have to go through 424 legislators to make your case for additional funding is an awesome feat. Highway fund is what funds a lot of what we do in terms of maintenance and repair for the state. Turnpike is different, so I just wanted to point that out. Turnpike is healthy. The last time we had a toll increase in the Turnpike was 2007. We have a little bit of a cash balance in the Turnpike, so that's part of the Turnpike. Never can those two mix. If we have excess cash in the Turnpike, I can't go into the Turnpike and pull that cash out and put it in the highway fund to shore it up. I can't do that. Okay. So this is what the Mermaid Bridge project is going to look like when it's finished. This is future. Okay, this is Hilton Park right here. It's going to be 4 lanes northbound, 4 lanes southbound. Basically from Pease all the way out to Dover, the exchange at Dover. It's going to be 4 lanes both ways. Okay. What we're working on now as part of the Turnpike Expanded Capital Program, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the future. The Dover end, from here all the way up to here, exit 6, is unfunded. Okay, it's $73.2 million. It's probably going to be closer to $80 million. It's unfunded right now. Okay, it was approved under House Bill 391 back in 2008, but the funding wasn't tied to it. So again, this is part of the Turnpike. This is not part of the interstate. This is part of the Turnpike. This right here. In order for us to finish this piece here and do some other big capital projects like the Bow Concord winding project on the F.E. Everett Turnpike, and some projects in Manchester, exit 5 and 6 over there, we're going to need to talk about a revenue. So you can imagine, when you have a highway fund that hasn't seen revenue since 1991, and that's gas tax and registration fees. And you can imagine when you have large capital projects like this on the Turnpike that you need additional funding. It's very difficult, especially in New Hampshire. I'm a fiscally conservative type guy. I don't like taxes any more than anybody else does. But you can imagine trying to come forward and say we need additional revenue on the Turnpike tolls, and we need additional revenue on the highway fund gas tax. It's just, in our state, it's just a very, very difficult discussion. So these projects have to be coordinated and staged accordingly. And it's not like in the private sector that I can come in front of my former CEO, Bob Brown, and say, Bob, I need $10 million to launch a product, return on investment can be blah, 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 and then he'd either say yes or no. Now you've got projects that are in a schedule, you have projects that have to keep going on so they finish on time, and then you're having those discussions with policymakers in terms of getting revenue.